We have people who believe that some naughty pictures have been exchanged and what's going on with that. We also have people shaming, and there's a lot of hatred going on online right now. We have the album sales for V being halted, and this is being controversial right now. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Disci, let's get into it. Now, if you're unaware, there have been some issues with V and his new album sales for a while. This was recently an issue that was happening when he first released his album, where a lot of people were scared that they wouldn't be able to get it. This has happened before with some of the artists on the label, where the label will order a set amount of albums, and then the fans can only order that set amount. Basically, everyone else who orders will be put on a wait list for God knows how long until they're able to get their album. And the album already takes a really long time to ship from Korea to the US or wherever. This was controversial, not even because the fans couldn't get their album, although I'm sure that's what the fans were really upset about, but they flipped it and basically went to the label to say that the label was sabotaging V. Of course, people not getting their album isn't going to sabotage any specific artist, but people are then saying that if the album doesn't ship, then it doesn't count on the charts. Like the sales won't count towards the chart rankings, which of course does hurt the artist to some degree. I want to give an alternative side to this though, and kind of explain what I think is actually happening here. 1 million albums is perhaps too much, that they probably won't go for this amount when an artist is making a comeback. To have a facility where they can house 1 million albums for each artist that they have in the label is simply unrealistic. They have at this point so many artists and so many artists that hit over 1 million sales on the first week, and a lot of those purchases and those sales are physical albums. We're talking about facilities that would need to potentially be miles long to house just this one artist's album. So a lot of these labels, what they'll do is they'll order a small amount comparatively, maybe like a couple thousand, maybe like a couple tens of thousands, whatever they can house on their own facility or in a third-party facility that they may use to manufacture the albums. And then if those albums sell out, everyone else just goes on to pre-order. This is exactly why physical albums are not as popular anymore in Western culture, is because they can't really manufacture at this level, especially with a lot of artists nowadays hitting tens of millions of sales in the first week. Now, this isn't the official album, the one that is being in controversy right now. This is just the vinyl record, but a lot of people want it and it sold out a lot. Now, there is also this idea that if people bought the first album, like the CD version and the official one, there's probably going to be less people buying the vinyl one. They don't expect that more people are going to buy the vinyl one than the CD one. And then they definitely don't expect that it would be the same amount of people. So they order less and they manufacture less, and the rest just goes into a pre-order. We have to also get into the actual issue at hand, the thing that people are most upset about. A lot of people have ordered the vinyl since it was available to be ordered, which was around the time when V was still active, and now he's in the military. Those people have not received it, and not only have they not received it, it allegedly hasn't even been shipped yet. So a lot of people are very upset, saying it's been such a long time, why isn't this shipped? Well, things can take a really long time to make. At this point, I don't know how much it matters whether he is still on the charts or not. The song, the promotion period, all that stuff has passed, so if you're upset about him not being able to rank super high now, it doesn't really matter as much because he's not here to promote it anyway. I thought it was very interesting as a lot of these tweets were being tweeted out with the specific date that was in the purchase page, saying when they would ship out the vinyl. They're tweeting it on September 20th, when some of these dates are saying that it could take up to September 29th to ship. I will give the benefit of the doubt and assume that the dates has changed multiple times, but if it hasn't and people are complaining, I find that really weird, and also not the first time that people have complained about something where the answer is like right there. Of course, give things time, it will ship out when it ships out. It's not like they're withholding the album from everybody. They would very much like to make that money and to make a profit, so they're anxious to get the album out just as much as you are. As if the albums aren't shipped, they do not get paid. Typically, the money goes to them after something has shipped. Now, since Jennie has announced that she was not in a relationship with Bam Bam from GOT7, there's been a lot of controversy. The main one being why she didn't deny the rumor with V, but she was very quick to deny the rumor with Bam. And you can assume whatever you want to assume about this. I'm not going to pitch in more of my thoughts on that, but now she is being called and shamed for promiscuity, when no woman should be shamed whether they are promiscuous or not. And definitely not be shamed after just publicly dating like 3 or 4 people. A lot of them haven't been confirmed, but if we are counting the ones that people think, or the rumored ones that she has dated, she's dated them in a span of like maybe several years, maybe 5 or 6 years. She's dated like 3 people, and each of them have allegedly lasted several months to years. So this is not like she's sleeping around. She's been in relationships, and a lot of relationships, it takes a few months before you know whether this person is for you or not. And if this person is not for you, are you to stay in that relationship? Like, would that make her not promiscuous for staying in a relationship with one person? Or is is it just that the idea that she's in a relationship at all that makes her promiscuous? Some people were still shaming her for the show that she was in with The Weeknd. Now, this is definitely a pretty raunchy show. If you go and watch it, it's definitely not for kids and probably not for teens either. So it does have a lot of adult themes in there. It's clear why Jennie wanted to do this, at least from my perspective. She wanted to be seen in a more mature light. She wanted a different opportunity, and she wanted to grow in the US a little bit differently than how she had been growing in Korea. She wanted to work on something a little bit more mainstream in the US and gained a lot more recognition here, which I think she definitely did. Just to give a little bit of context, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but in the show, there were definitely moments in which Jennie's character admitted that she had slept with The Weeknd's character in the show. This was aired in the show, and there are people that think that this is real, that they showed a moment in which Jennie and The Weeknd admitted to sleeping with each other, the moment that was aired in the show. The scripted, the edited, and the not real show. There's a new level of stupid that exists in the world, and I have to warn everyone about it. Of course, we can't get into Jennie and her being shamed without people bringing V in, which happened to be one of the most recent rumors, right? Like, this was like the biggest. There had been a lot of people that were saying that she is very promiscuous, and even saying that there had been a lot of X-rated photos that Jennie and V exchanged with each other, but most people are specifically saying that just Jennie had exchanged that. Now, if Jennie had exchanged pictures, the chances of V also exchanging pictures were probably pretty high too. Like, I wouldn't expect to just see one person exchanging pictures and then the other didn't. However, it's always the women that get shamed, and she is now being shamed for sending those pictures, for doing any of those things when these are very normal things to do in a relationship. It's extremely tough to be an idol for this exact reason, because obviously there is an opportunity for things to get leaked and things to get hacked. But it's tough because idols didn't grow up the same way most of us did. They didn't grow up in school, they didn't have a college experience, or maybe it was kind of a nice one, and they didn't lose their virginity, or they lost their virginity in high school in the back of a car, or even like the first date and the first kiss. A lot of that stuff had to be hidden and be put into secrecy. And the only thing that I can think of to justify as to why a lot of people are calling Jennie these horrible names or calling her very promiscuous is because a lot of these relationships, at least from what it's reported on the news, allegedly didn't last like several years. Maybe some of them were just like a few months. Of course, keep in mind, it's just a few months since we've known about it. So it could have been going on for a year or half a year or several years before we knew about it. But even if it lasted only a few months, this is normal. And so while we think as an adult they should be able to pick their partners better, and if they do pick their partner, it should last more than a few months. However, understanding that while their intelligence, while their financial stuff, while their work ethic, all of that stuff is going to be above the normal person, but their social life and their romantic life is going to be at an age that is much lower than the rest of us. Their experience in that department, them understanding what they want in a significant other while having to battle what other people think and what people are saying online, and also battling like, is this going to affect their career and their finances? So this is why I think it's so odd to shame someone, especially an idol, because these are things that we've all done. It's just maybe not doing it at the age that they're doing it at now, because they never got a chance to do it at the age that maybe they were supposed to do it, or what we as a society categorize as supposed to happen at a specific age. They just didn't get a chance to do that. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.